Good morning. Welcome to our talks. Anthony. Today we're going to have an insightful conversation. For those that are new to the channel, we make mental health conversations and content that's going to be beneficial to your personal development in addition to your well-being. However, in today's conversation, we're going to be talking about understanding suicide and how to recognize warning signs and offer support. We're going to take in consideration because we want to be able to develop that awareness because suicide ideations is something that is real, something that's happened, and that growing silence is something that we don't want to avoid when it's coming to being overwhelmed, hopeless, or even convinced that pain doesn't even matter. You also want to take in consideration that the surface level of the struggle, it is real, it is something that we want to be able to draw attention to, and in this video we're going to be talking about how we're able to support in a safe, compassionate way. You know what I mean? For those out there that may feel like they're alone, you know what I mean? There's people out here that will support you, and there's also, you know what I mean, a way to go about it for other people out there. So on the back end, if you stick with me, grow with me, we're going to be able to learn throughout this video. So first segment, we're going to be talking about understanding suicide ideation. You know what I mean? What is this? Like, let's bring a meaning to it, right? So off the rip, let's talk about this. Is the ideation. So it's thoughts on wanting to escape unbreathable emotional pain. We got to take in consideration some people just, you know what I mean, they have these emotions, they're going through a lot of things. Trauma is real, right? And it can range from a passive, I don't want to be here no more, or specific thoughts of just like self-harm, just get into it, right? So this is a sign of distress. We want to take that into consideration. It's not a character flaw. It's not this person wants attention. This person's doing too much, right? This is something that is a real life stress and that's causing, you know what I mean, chaos to one's world, and they feel as if that they want to do these things. So these are thoughts that are coming through the mind, right? Common warning signs we want to take into consideration is one that is talking about, you know, off the rip, like I said, just they don't want to be here, right? But also feeling trapped. They feel like may feel like a burden. They're feeling hopeless, right? Withdrawing from friends, activities, or even their usual routines, right? So sudden mood changes, right? Or even that sharp pain of just like, it's coming out of nowhere. These are different emotions that come through, right? Giving away their belongings, saying goodbye, declining, you know, school performance, not really having the motivation to really do things, you know, increased risk behavior, recklessness, right? So these are different common warning signs that we're going to be taking consideration. But I also want to talk to you guys about what suicidal ideation isn't, right? It's not attention seeking. It's not someone being selfish in addition to, you telling somebody just snap out of it, like get it together. Because some people, let's be real, different cultures and how we respond to certain things, you may tell a person, tighten up, get it together, or I'll give you something to cry about, whatever. But it's like, you really got to have compassion, you got to have understanding that someone is going through a lot of distress, right? So this is a real emotion that's going through this individual. Next segment, we're going to be talking about why it feels heavy, why, you know, let's draw an understanding in regards to mental health impact, right? Physical impact in addition to, you know, the suicidal thoughts, right? So overwhelming when it comes to the emotional impact, we got to take into consideration that, you know, it's overwhelming. You know, it gives that guilt, there's shame, intense sadness, someone that is feeling numb or just wants to disconnect from others. There's physical effects in regards to fatigue, sleep changes, headaches, you know, chest tightens, you know what I mean, shortness of breath sometimes with that individual, difficulty with eating or even concentrating because there's just so much stress, so much things going on with this individual. And for someone to sit there and say that they don't want to be here, that shows you something that is a significant concern. Cognitive effects, we get talking about, it's all or nothing, feeling stuck or unable to imagine a future and not really trying to even think about the future. So mental health exhaustion and that constant emotional, you know, strain. So like I said, this person is tore up from the floor up. This is a concern. This is an individual that is going through a lot of stress. Why it happens, right? So the brain is under chronic stress, as mentioned, right? So struggles to deal with emotional regulation. So when someone feels isolated or unsupported, normal changes or those challenges can, you know, feel impossible for that individual. So we got to take that in consideration. Like I said, this is a concern due to this individual's brain, and this person is going through that chronic stress. Next segment, we're going to dive right into how to offer this person that support and safely and compassionately. We've got to take in consideration the way we talk to someone, right? The power of the tongue. We've got to take in consideration that, you know, we don't want to put this person in more harm or more danger. We really want to be able to encourage in a safe way, in a safe manner, right? So start with the careful, direct questions, right? I've noticed that you seem kind of, you know, off lately. Things is not going good, but do you feel safe, right? Are you having thoughts of hurting yourself, right? So just be direct with the individual, but, you know what I mean, to let this person speak on their behalf, right? So you really want to dive into listening to understand, right? So stay calm, be patient, avoid that judgment. We gotta take into consideration that criticism is not gonna make anything better, or even just being shocked and like giving that person a big reaction, right? So you really wanna just allow them to just open up, be compassionate, be calm, and also to encourage that professional support. We always don't have to have the answers. You don't always have to have the answers or the right things to say. There's other people out there that will be able to take it from there, right? So we have school counselors, there's mental health professionals, there's crisis lines, right? And there's trusted adults that you can go to. So advocate for yourself. Don't feel as if that you're stuck in a corner, but even for the individual as well, you're not alone. You know what I mean? So I want you to take that into consideration. The support is out there for you. Next, we're going to be talking about that to make the environment more safer, right? So you really wanted to, reach out to adults, like I said, to be able to help reduce that immediate risk. Because there's proactive, like I said, crisis lines to be able to help you with that. You can stay close to, emergency service as well. Don't forget it. Everybody knows the number, 911. So if you feel as if that you need to just talk to a medical provider, you know what I mean? We have that instant support. So don't get it twisted, you heard? But next segment, we're going to be talking if you're struggling, steps to move forward to that safety and that healing, right? I will also want to just say too is that good things take time, right? But I also want to say for the individual that's going through that stress is that there is healing, there is safety, and there's professionals that will be able to support you, right? So we have to really be proactive for ourselves. We're proactive in regards to advocating for ourselves. If you know that you're not feeling good, something's off, you're having these thoughts, really reach out to someone that can really sit down with you, take in regards to all the emotions that you got going on, share with them, right? And so they're able to proactively put things together for you to be able to heal, to get back, right? So I'm here for you, Therapy Talks is here for you, but I really want you to make this video because I really want us to be able to have understanding, but also recognize that, you're not the only one that's going through this, and there is supportive ways to get to the other side, right? So let's get back into it, right? So reach out the right way, right? So I said talk to a parent, a guardian, teachers, mental health professionals. There's different counselors if you're in school, right? For those out there, I want to say again, you're not alone, so don't feel as if that you're a burden to anybody, right? So you really want to take into consideration that your life is valuable, right? So by taking this step, by talking to someone that can be able to provide that safety and that saving, right? Next is going to be stay connected, right? So spend time with people that make you feel seen, make you feel heard, they really listen to you proactively, right? So join those supportive clubs, groups, community things, and just those safe spaces to be able to have you tied and not being into isolation, right? You also want to have grounding and coping. So taking consideration that you want to have like those breathing exercises, that meditation, right? Sensory grounded. So if you got to walk around, just like, around the neighborhood, or go into nature, do certain things like that. You want to be able to have your ear pods on, or even a phone call while you're doing it. Do certain things like that, but also too, it's also good to have your solitude, right? Your alone time, but you know what I mean? There's support. There's always support. So different ways how to go about things. So engaging into activities, like I said, music, art, paint night, something like that, or even like, walking in nature, or even journaling, getting those emotions out. These can be coping mechanisms and grounding techniques that can be beneficial for you to be able to navigate, healing safely, right? I also want to take in consideration that you also want to create a personal safety plan, right? So someone that you can call off the rip, right? You also want to have things and triggers that you can identify. You write those down, right, with the journal, and also to your coping strategies, what works for you. I mean, you may not like to do the walks and stuff like that, but maybe you like art, maybe you like to stay inside and journal, maybe you like to really get your emotions out and really get real with the paper and the pen, right? So really figure out what works for you, and also to know safe spaces. Like, where do you feel safe? Where do you feel comfortable the most, right? So think about these things, right? Have a safety plan, create a story for yourself, right? We all are blessed to have a story. We're all blessed to have meaning, a purpose, right? We all got to really spend time to really get to the nitty-gritty with practice and reflection. Moving forward to our next segment, I really want to dive into is going to be that hope and strength. We've got to realize that we have the resilient story in all of us, right? Where healing is possible. We're able to navigate through with that positive mindset, right? So key concept off the rip is suicidal thoughts are treatable, right? So we really want to take in consideration, like I said, before I dive into the information, is that you're not alone. There's many other people on this planet. I always tell people too, sometimes like take a spin near the cemetery, right? There was millions of people that was here before you, before us, before me, right? And they lived, and they had the story. They may have a diagnosis too. They may have their own situation, but they had to navigate through their own situation. So everybody has their own ups and downs, their situations in their life, right? But we're all able to navigate through by having compassion for ourselves. Let's start there, being kind to ourselves, right? Healing process, realizing that we can use the bad, use the trauma, and put all these different things that will happen to us and put purpose and meaning and positivity behind it and really provide something. We have a story, you know what I mean? So before I dive into all that, I really want to just kind of provide that with y'all. But we got to take into consideration that we have hope. We got to believe in ourselves, right? And there is strength, there's support, there's people out there that are for us, right? So I really want to put that into this video because we do this for real, but I need you to know that you're not the only one, right? Let's get back into it. So you got to really take consideration that with time, support, and that the right professional help as you advocate for yourself, things will get better. So it's treatable, right? So recovery also isn't linear. So you got to realize that, some days you're going to have your good days. Sometimes you're going to have your bad days, right? Life's not Candyland, but it's normal to feel that. You know what I mean? And once again, you're not alone. So many people experience suicidal thoughts and later go on to thrive, right? So it's just about, like I said, taking it easy, realizing what the situation is, seeking the supports and doing the coping things and different things that we talked about today, right? And realizing that you're not alone and we're able to navigate with a positive mindset and advocating for ourselves with that support, right? Your story isn't over. We gotta take that in consideration. You deserve the love, you deserve the safety, you deserve a future of possibility for yourself. Whatever you dream, whatever you want, you can get it when you put your mind to it with that positivity. This is what we do, right? We have to have that mindset shift. So your pain is real, but your strength is also realer. That's what I want to put in there. You know what I mean? My little sauce on it, right? But it's like in a real way. I really want you to take that in consideration. But wrapping this video up, you are more than you know, right? So it's things that happen to us, but with positivity, with the information, getting with professional, getting this proactive healing, doing the journaling, really getting these emotions out and getting in tune with yourself, things will get better. I wish you nothing but the best. You are not alone. God is with you. I am with you. If you've liked this video, found it beneficial, please share if possible, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you on the next one. Take it easy.